Tamil Nadu politics. It's always been a hotbed. But with the 2026 assembly elections coming up, it feels like things are really heating up, especially with this whole AIANK BJP situation.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is. It's this will they, won't they dance.
Yeah.
And everyone's watching to see if they'll actually join forces.
Yeah.
I mean, will this alliance really happen?
Well, that's what we're going to try and untangle today. We're taking a deep dive into this potential partnership, trying to understand the motivations, the key players, and, the potential consequences. It's a complex landscape.
It really is. It's like trying to predict the moves in a really intricate chess game where the rules are always changing. So, to lay the groundwork, we've got to start with the AIADMK, historically a dominant force in Tamil Nadu politics. I mean, the legacies of MGR and Jayalalitha, they loom large.
Right.
But now, well, they've faced some setbacks.
They have. And on the other side, we have the BJP, a national party that's been working, I'd say, quite diligently to carve out a space for itself in the state.
Trying to gain a real foothold.
Exactly. And with Annamalai leading the charge in Tamil Nadu, he certainly made his presence known. But turning that into actual electoral success, that's been the real challenge for them.
Absolutely. One of the things that really struck me when we were preparing for this was this idea of Tamil Nadu politics being like a masala dosa.
Oh, yes.
Everyone loves it, but everyone has their own way of making it. It's spicy, it's got layers. I don't know, it just seems to perfectly capture the unique flavor of politics in the state.
It really does, because it's not just about the parties, it's about the personalities, the history, the cultural nuances. And one of the other analogies that really stood out to me was this idea of the AIADMK as a faded movie poster. I mean, think about it. They were once this larger-than-life force, absolutely captivating the public, but now that image has lost some of its vibrancy.
That's a powerful image.
It is, isn't it? And then you have the BJP being compared to trying to, grow mangoes in the Arctic. It just highlights the uphill battle they face, doesn't it?
It really does. It speaks to the challenges of adapting a national political platform to a state with such a distinct regional identity, a distinct cultural landscape.
Absolutely. So with all of that in mind, the big question is why? Why are these two parties, with their differences, even considering an alliance?
Well, if we look at the 2026 elections, it really seems to come down to the numbers. For the AIADMK, those recent electoral losses, they've definitely taken a toll. 2019, 2021, and then again in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. It can't be easy to maintain momentum with that kind of track record.
When you compare the current leadership under EPS to the towering figures of MGR and Jayalalitha, well, it's a different picture, isn't it? One source even described EPS as being like a substitute teacher, just managing the party, not really leading it in the same way.
And that perception matters.
It does. Now, the BJP's motivation seems pretty clear-cut. They desperately want a solid base in Tamil Nadu. Sure, they managed to get about 10.72% of the vote share in the last Lok Sabha election.
Not insignificant at all.
No, not at all. But here's the catch. They didn't win a single seat in Tamil Nadu.
0.
Exactly. And that's a glaring reminder that vote share alone doesn't translate into political power, at least not in Tamil Nadu's complex landscape.
It makes you really appreciate just how tight things were in the 2021 assembly elections. I mean, the AIADMK BJP alliance combined got around 36% of the vote.
And the DMK.
They were just slightly ahead at 37.7%. It really shows that a united front could make a huge difference.
It highlights that even small shifts in voting patterns can have a big impact on the outcome, especially when the margins are so narrow.
So let's talk about what really kicked off this latest round of alliance talks.
Well, it seems like EPS meeting with Amit Shah in Delhi at the end of March 2025 was a pivotal moment. Apparently, Shah was very open about wanting to form an alliance, which was interesting because it wasn't exactly a secret meeting.
No, it wasn't. It was a pretty public acknowledgement that things were moving in that direction. But then things got really interesting when K.A. Sengatayan, a senior AIADMK leader, had that unexpected meeting with Nirmala Sitharaman.
An unscheduled meeting.
In Delhi, no less.
And EPS claims he didn't even know about it. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's going on within the AIADMK? Is there a division? And is the BJP playing both sides, trying to create a Tamil Nadu version of the Shiv Sena split?
It does feel like there might be some internal maneuvering going on. I mean, Sengatayan meeting with a prominent BJP figure without EPS's knowledge, it definitely adds a layer of intrigue.
Absolutely. It makes you question the internal dynamics of the AIADMK. Are they truly united on this potential alliance? And what about the BJP? Are they hedging their bets? Are they looking for alternative partners within the AIADMK, just in case?
It's fascinating. So let's shift gears a bit. Considering all this internal tension and the fact that they've had a rocky relationship in the past, what makes this alliance so appealing for both sides? What's driving them together?
Well, for the AIADMK, you can't ignore the string of losses they've experienced. I mean, 3 major elections in a row.
It's got to be demoralizing.
It has to be. And it makes you wonder if they're looking at this alliance as a way to turn things around, to regain some of that lost ground.
Makes sense. And for the BJP?
Yeah.
Well, they're still struggling to really put down roots in Tamil Nadu. The deep-seated Dravidian pride, that sense of regional identity, it creates a very different political climate than they might be used to.
You know, there's this perception, right, of the BJP having a very Hindi heartland vibe, and that doesn't always resonate in Tamil Nadu.
It doesn't. And then you layer on top of that all those contentious policy issues that divide the two parties.
Those are some pretty big hurdles to overcome.
They are. Things like NEET, the three-language policy under the National Education Policy, delimitation, the WAC Amendment Bill.
All incredibly sensitive and unpopular in Tamil Nadu.
And here's the thing. The AIADMK has been very vocal in opposing these policies in the past. So how do they now justify aligning with the very party that's pushing these policies? It seems like a pretty big contradiction.
It raises questions about their credibility. How can they convince voters that they're still standing up for what they believe in if they join forces with a party that's pushing an agenda they've publicly opposed?
Exactly. And this isn't the first time these two parties have attempted to work together, is it?
It isn't. Their history is full of these on-again, off-again alliances. I mean, remember the 2023 breakup? That was pretty messy. The AIADMK walked away after some of Annamalai's comments about Dravidian leaders.
And things haven't exactly been smooth sailing since then.
No, not at all. But, you know, if we go even further back to the Vajpayee era, things were actually pretty good. The AIADMK, led by Jayalalitha at the time, and the BJP had a positive working relationship.
More cooperative.
Yeah, more cooperative. And to some extent, that dynamic continued, at least initially, under the Modi administration. So there is a precedent for collaboration.
There is. But I think a lot changed after Jayalalitha's passing. The AIADMK went through a period of infighting, leadership changes. I mean, you had OPS, Sasikala, different factions vying for control. It really weakened the party.
It did. And that instability created an opening for the DMK. They were able to capitalize on that uncertainty.
And then you have Annamalai, who has a very distinct leadership style, shall we say. Some have called it combustible. He's not afraid to ruffle feathers. And that's caused friction with the AIADMK.
And it's even led to speculation that the BJP might be considering alternatives, like Nanar Nagendran, who comes from the Thevar community. It's all about balancing those caste equations, a crucial aspect of Tamil Nadu politics.
Absolutely. So with all this complexity, I'm curious to hear what different people within both parties are saying about this potential alliance. We came across some really interesting perspectives.
Yeah, we did.
For instance, Saidi Duraizami. He's a veteran AIADMK leader, and he seems to think this alliance is crucial for the party's survival. He even referenced MGR's history of strategic alliances. It's like he's saying, look, if MGR did it, we can do it too.
Pragmatism. He sees it as a necessary step to stay relevant.
Exactly. But then you have Durai Karuna, the journalist, and he's got a slightly different take. He paints a picture of the AIADMK as being internally fractured under EPS, suggesting that this alliance with the BJP might be their only option, a last resort.
It's almost as if he's saying that EPS might have to swallow his pride to make this work.
And then there's the anonymous AIADMK functionary, Mr. X, who voiced some serious concerns about whether the party's grassroots workers would even accept this alliance. He's worried about backlash, internal conflict, the whole thing blowing up in their faces.
The base is important. Without their support, it's all for nothing.
And what's really fascinating is that there are divisions within the BJP as well. Some of the younger members are apparently hesitant about this alliance. They're concerned that aligning with a potentially weakened AIADMK might actually hinder their progress, dilute Annamalai's momentum.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're building something here. Why risk it all for an uncertain partnership?
Exactly. So with all these different voices swirling around, we reached out to some political analysts to get their take. What are the experts predicting?
Well, Taras Hussain was pretty skeptical. He basically said, look, this alliance isn't going to magically save the AIADMK. The BJP is still deeply unpopular on those key policy issues, and swapping out EPS for someone like Sangattayan isn't going to change that.
It's about more than just leadership. It's about fundamental policy differences.
And T. Sigamani was even more blunt. He called it a lose-lose situation for the AIADMK. He said they risk losing credibility with their voters, especially after that last breakup with the BJP. And, he had this really striking analogy.
Oh, I remember this one.
Yeah. He said it's like jumping into a volcano and hoping it's just a hot tub.
Wow.
It really captures the potential danger for the AIADMK.
It does. But just when you think things couldn't get any more complicated, we have a new player entering the game.
Actor Vijay.
He's launched his own political party, the TBK, and he's already made it clear that he's going head-to-head with the DMK in the 2026 elections.
And he's not messing around. He said they'll be contesting all 234 seats. This could really shake things up.
It could. It has the potential to split the anti-DMK vote even further, which puts the AIADMK in an even tougher spot.
Exactly. Do they stick with their current plan, or do they adjust to account for this new force in Tamil Nadu politics?
So it's clear that the AIADMK is facing an existential crisis.
They really are. Ever since Jayalalitha's passing, they've struggled to find their footing, the infighting, the rise and fall of different leaders, the electoral losses. It's been a turbulent few years.
And that's allowed the DMK to consolidate their power. They've been really effective at tapping into those anti-center sentiments, particularly on issues like NEET, delimitation, the walk bill.
An alliance with the BJP could play right into their hands.
It could. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think one thing is crystal clear. The AIADMK is at a crossroads. They have a really tough decision to make.
An alliance with the BJP could offer short-term gains, potentially bolstering their numbers in the 2026 elections. But the long-term consequences could be devastating. They risk alienating their base, losing credibility, and becoming associated with policies that are deeply unpopular in Tamil Nadu.
It's not just about winning the next election.
It's about survival.
It really is. The decisions they make in the coming months could determine the future of the party. Will they remain a major force in Tamil Nadu politics, or will they fade into the background?
It's a question we'll all be watching unfold, and it's a testament to the dynamic and often unpredictable nature of politics, especially in a state as complex and culturally rich as Tamil Nadu. Who knows what the future holds?
Who knows? But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a fascinating ride.